Hey guys, welcome to the next tutorial. So in the last one we broke a few things, so let's quickly fix it before we move on to the projectiles. So nice, quick, easy fix. So I think I just got my parenting wrong, so let's take the camera holder out of the lean pivot, and let's put the lean pivot inside of the camera holder, and then just make the camera and the weapon a child of the lean pivot. Okay, so what this will do is it'll fix being able to lean while crouching and while laying down. Nice, quick, easy fix. The only problem we have now is we have our aiming target based off of our camera holder and not the actual camera itself. So this is actually something I wanted to change, although this looks quite cool, shooting around a corner. Not exactly what we want. So to change that, let's just go into our character controller script here. Oh, no, it is inside the weapon. The weapon controller. Now let's open that up. Okay, so this is the problem when I take take a little bit of a break is when I come back, I don't know where anything is. Okay, so we want to look for calculate aiming in. Here we go. Okay, so it's right at the top. And if you take a look at calculate aiming in, you'll see we use the camera holder transform position for the target position, which obviously we don't want to be using. So I'm just going to go to our character controller where we have this variable. There's character controller, right? Yep, character controller, camera holder. So character controller, there should be camera holder here. Let's add another transform for our actual camera. Okay, and what we'll do is instead of camera holder, obviously just use the new camera for both bits here. So everywhere we reference camera holder in the script, we'll change it to camera. Back into Unity and make sure we add that reference. We'll go back to player, make sure we add our camera reference in there. Save that, and then fingers crossed. Come in, and our weapon now leans with us. Perfect. All right, so now let's continue with the tutorial, and I am sorry about that. Obviously, if you need any help, just join the Discord, pop us a message in the help channel, and either myself or someone will be able to help you out. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the shooting I'm going to keep quite nice and simple. So I'm just going to have it when you shoot, it'll create an object in front of either the barrel or a little bit closer. Haven't really decided yet. Might go from the center of the camera, not too sure yet. But what we'll do is we'll try simulate bullet drop. So with our instantiated object, we'll shoot out a raycast, and we will change the raycast distance over time. So it'll simulate travel. Bullet travel as well, so you should need to lead your shots and stuff like that. And what we'll do is when we get a hit, we'll only count the hit that's at the end of the raycast. So if somebody walks in between our bullet while it's traveling, then it won't count. So in this tutorial, what I want to get down is instantiating the object when we shoot, and also having a single fire and a fully auto. We'll come back to animations and reloading and everything a little bit later on. Let's just get our bullet projectiles working, and then we can move on to that. So I have actually added a new folder for sound effects. Expand that. You see I've now got my dry fire and my shot sound, and if you just click along the bottom here, you can actually preview the sounds. In this tutorial, I think we're just going to be using the shot sound. I'll just have it play, obviously, as soon as our empty game object is created for our bullet. So let's work on our empty game object. So I'm just going to, inside weapon, I'm just going to create an empty, and we'll just call this bullet. And I'm actually going to drag it out of everything. Let's just put it back into wild space. It doesn't actually matter where it is, because we're basically just going to be creating a prefab out of it. So it doesn't really matter where it is. I'm just going to stick it here. Don't know why. And then the first thing we want to do is I'm going to click and drag my sound effect onto it. I'm just going to make sure play on awake is ticked, make sure loop is unticked, and there we go. We have our bullet. So let's go ahead and create our bullet script. So we'll create a script here. So under weapons, I'll just create a new C# script. We'll just call that script bullet. So nice and simple, and we'll open that up. So we now have our bullet script. We'll get rid of all of this. Let's just do a header for settings. And I hit caps lock. And inside here for now, let's just do a public float for lifetime. There we go, lifetime. And we'll give that a default value of, say, 1. Cool. Nice and simple. And then we'll also do an awake. And we'll just say destroy game object, but also add another parameter of lifetime. Basically, we'll destroy it after a certain amount of time. So the bullets will kind of clean themselves up. Right. So let's go into here, and what we're going to do is we'll just make sure that that's working. So let's go ahead and put our bullet script onto the bullet. Maximize. Now, if I hit play, it should play that sound and then destroy after 1 second. Really, it played the sound and then destroyed itself. Nice and simple. So now all we need to do is get the bullet spawning when we shoot. So quite simple. So let's go into our weapon controller script. Okay. And we will just add under references, we will add a reference. So go public game object, and this will be our bullet prefab. Awesome. Now that's what we're going to be spawning. Create another header a little lower down. So beneath sites, and we'll call this projectiles. Projectiles, shooting. I don't know. Shooting. Shooting. All right. And in here we'll have our public float for rate of fire. Cool. And we'll also have a private float for current fire rate. Okay, now we need to create an enum. So let's open up our SCR models. We'll minimize player, maximize weapons, and we'll create an enum here. We'll just create a public enum, and we'll call it weapon fire type. And the first weapon fire type we'll have is semi-auto, fully auto. And then we'll come back to bolt actions and pumps. But for now, we'll just work on semi-auto and fully auto. We'll copy the name of that enum, go back over to our weapon controller, and we'll create a public list. And we'll add system.collections.generic, which should add it right at the top. If you don't get the little light bulb to add it, just type it in. And we'll have a list of the weapon fire types. And we'll just call this allowed fire types. Cool. And we'll also have a public weapon fire type for current fire type. The reason we have a list is so that the user can toggle between. And we'll just set this down here under our start. We'll just do current fire type equals allowed fire types dot first. going to complain as well, so we'll just input using system.link. Again, type it in if you don't get it. Okay, awesome. So now we've got those. We will eventually make this current fire type private, which is why we're initially setting it. But I'm going to set it to public just so we can play around with it and change it. And cool. All right, so the next things we need to do is, we need to tidy this up, don't we? There we go. Okay, so I've got everything a little bit tidied up now. Just makes it a little bit easier for us to read and edit. So let's go ahead and set up some inputs. Go over to the inputs, open up our input controller, go to weapon. So we've got fire 2 pressed and fire 2 released. So let's do the same for fire 1, which will be our main fire. Fire 1 pressed. And fire 1 released. Okay, and then we will add an interaction here and just make sure that fire 1 released will go press and make sure that's release only. And we'll add a binding of, I can't use listen. Where's mouse? Left button. For both of them. Awesome. So I'll save. Okay, just looking at this one, it looks like we put the interaction on the actual map instead of the action. So I'm just going to do the same. So I'm just going to remove it from here and add it to here. Cool. Save. Sweet. All right, let's go over to our script and we'll just get these in. So we'll create another region for shooting. Okay, so let's create a private void for shoot. And what shoot will do is it'll spawn our projectile and actually fire the weapon, regardless of fire type or anything, not in this function. So we'll just instantiate. So I'm going to create a variable for bullet equals instantiate. And then we want our prefab, bullet prefab, and we're going to create another, let's create another under references. We'll create a public transform for bullet spawn. Come down here. So we're going to instantiate the bullet prefab at bullet spawn. Cool, nice and simple. At this point, we're going to load bullet settings. So this can be everything from range and onwards, but for now, we're just going to instantiate it. All right, so now we need to obviously add our inputs. So let's go over to update. Okay, so sorry, not update. We need to go to the awake. Here we go. Okay, so for our weapon controller, I'm going to make this nice and simple. We'll create a boolean. We'll call it hidden inspector, just for a public bool. is shooting. And with our character controller, we're just obviously going to set that. And what we'll do is we'll create functions. So just below the update, let's create another region. Shooting. We'll create two functions. Shooting pressed. And shooting released. And we'll do an if inside here. We'll basically just check that we have a current weapon. And if we do have a current weapon, what we want to do is set that current weapon dot is shooting equals true. We're basically going to copy that, put it on the release, except on the release we'll obviously set it to false. Awesome. So we'll copy these. Actually, let's keep all these together. So I'm going to grab our fire 2 inputs, put them down there, add 2 lots of them because I'm also going to do fire 1 pressed and fire 1 released. We'll have shooting pressed and shooting released. Cool. All right, and then on our weapon controller, we'll just have a private void for calculate shooting. Then obviously we'll add this into our update. And inside here for now, we'll just say if is shooting, then shoot. And then inside here as well, after we've shot, we'll check if current fire rate equals, sorry, not current fire rate, right? Current fire type equals fire type dot semi, then is shooting equals false. Cool. All right, so let's go into Unity. Let's add in all of our new references. So we need to create a prefab out of this bullet. So this is very easy to do. So I'm just going to create another folder for prefabs. And I'll just literally just click and drag it. Just going to call that bullet. Just click and drag it into that folder. You'll see it creates a prefab. I'm now just going to delete it out of our scene. Let's go ahead onto our weapon. Here we go. And what we'll do at the bottom, see we have shooting rate of fires, nothing allowed fire type. So let's go ahead and add in our semi-auto. Actually, no, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we'll add in our semi-auto. And also under references, see we have our bullet spawn and our bullet prefab. So let's add in our reference to our prefab. And inside our weapon, we'll create an empty. And this is now going to be used as our bullet spawn. I'm just going to put it anywhere in the barrel, really. I'll just put it there. And we'll just call this bullet spawn. Cool. Ideally, what you want to do is have it lined up roughly to the sight target. So we're actually going to click and drag that and put that down where the mesh is as well, just so that it works with the weapon sway and everything. You kind of want it roughly in line with the sight target. That way it's very accurate when they're looking down the sight. I mean, to be fair, what we can do is I'm just going to put the bullet inside the sight target and just zero all that out. I'm literally going to put it where the sight target is. That's fine. We'll create a muzzle flash spawn later on. But for now, we'll just work on the projectiles. Okay, so now that that's there, references are set. Let me just check, did we put anything in here? No. All right, I mean, let's give it a go, just see what happens. It's on semi-auto. You see we can shoot a bullet. But obviously we can shoot, there's no fire rate, there's no nothing. Cool. Alright, so, but we have our prefab spawning, so next we need to work on fire rates and everything and actually get our raycast to work, so that we can actually start hitting things. But that's it for this tutorial, and hopefully in the next one we can actually start with our raycast and everything. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.